The current free agency landscape in the NBA has been brought to a standstill, and the entire situation hinges on one player, Jonathan Kuminga. This young talent has become the central figure, delaying several signings and moves by the Golden State Warriors, and until his contract situation is resolved, the team's ability to bring in reinforcements remains limited. The Warriors find themselves in a tricky spot because of Kuminga's restricted free agent status, which affects how much money they can offer to him and subsequently to other players on the roster. The bigger the contract they give Kuminga, the less cap space they have to work with, which directly impacts their capacity to sign other free agents or engage in trades. Among the players expected to join or rejoin the Warriors are the familiar names that fans should be excited about: Al Horford and Anthony Melton. Both have reportedly reached verbal agreements with Golden State, and multiple sources connected to the NBA Summer League have confirmed that these deals are basically in place pending the resolution of Kuminga's contract. Al Horford, a seasoned veteran with a wealth of experience, is anticipated to fill the center position, bringing a steady presence inside the paint. Horford's arrival signals a shift for the Warriors as he brings a mix of leadership, defensive savvy, and the ability to stretch the floor when needed. He isn't just any veteran, he has a career earning of nearly $300 million, so financial incentives aren't driving him at this stage. Instead, he seems motivated by the chance to compete and contribute to a winning culture. Anthony Melton's return to Golden State is also significant, particularly given his unfortunate injury last season. Melton, a versatile guard who can defend multiple positions and contribute on offense, tore his ACL and missed much of the campaign. Before that injury, he played as a two-guard for the Warriors and proved to be a valuable role player. The Warriors traded him to the Brooklyn Nets for Dennis Schroeder in an effort to tweak their roster, but that move didn't pan out as expected, leading to Melton being sent to Detroit in a deal involving Jimmy Butler. Now, with Melton potentially back in the mix, the Warriors could bolster their backcourt depth considerably. If everything falls into place, the starting lineup for Golden State might look like this: Stephen Curry running the point, Jimmy Butler playing on the wing, Draymond Green anchoring the defense at power forward, Melton handling the shooting guard duties, and Horford manning the center spot. This quintet would combine shooting, defense, playmaking, and experience. Of course, the question remains whether this group is enough to bring another championship home. There's always the possibility that Melton's comeback from an ACL injury might see him start off as a backup, allowing players like Patrick Baldwin Jr. or Moody to start some games. The Warriors could also bring in other pieces, but it's unlikely that Horford will come off the bench given his veteran status and skill set. He's expected to be the first backup center, with Quinton Post filling out the rotation at the 5. Now the complication that has everything in limbo is Kuminga's contract. As a restricted free agent, Kuminga is in a unique position. He's reportedly seeking a deal worth around $30 million per year, while the Warriors are more inclined to offer something closer to $20 million annually. This difference creates a significant negotiation gap. Furthermore, the rules surrounding sign-and trade deals for restricted free agents add more complexity. If Kuminga signs a deal worth $30 million, his trade value is limited to only half of that amount, $15 million, until December, when he becomes eligible to be traded for his full contract value. Similarly, if he signs for $20 million, the maximum trade value he can be assigned until that time is $10 million. These limitations make it difficult for the Warriors to maneuver his contract in trades, or to bring in additional players by including Kuminga in deals. Another wrinkle is the qualifying offer of $7.9 million the Warriors extended to Kuminga. If he accepts that offer, he becomes an unrestricted free agent next year, free to negotiate with any team without restrictions. This adds another layer to the decision-making process both for Kuminga and the Warriors. Accepting the qualifying offer would keep him with Golden State for a season, but puts his future up in the air. Meanwhile, the Warriors have also been connected to Malcolm Brogdon, a former 6th Man of the Year, who has been holding out in free agency despite interest from multiple teams. Brogdon's name hasn't been mentioned as frequently as others, but his potential arrival could fill a glaring need at backup point guard. The Warriors currently lack a reliable secondary playmaker behind Curry. Patrick Baldwin Jr. has shown flashes, but is still developing, and Moody has potential as well. Brogdon standing at 6 foot offers size, experience, and consistent production. Throughout his career, he's averaged double digits in points, bringing solid defense and playmaking ability. His arrival would add depth and stability in the backcourt, allowing Curry to manage minutes more efficiently and easing the pressure on other guards. Brogdon's career path is interesting. He's played for Milwaukee, Indiana, Boston, Portland, and Washington. Like Marcus Smart, who moved from the Wizards to the Lakers, Brogdon could follow a similar coast-to-coast journey and land in the Bay Area, bringing his veteran presence to a team with championship aspiration. The Warriors system also tends to help guards contribute to rebounding even if it's not their primary role, which fits Brogdon's style of play. Contract-wise, Brogdon was earning around $22 million last season, but isn't likely to command that as a backup on a championship contender. He's made over $130 million in his career, so his decision might come down to chasing money or chasing a ring. The Warriors, on the other hand, don't have a lot of cap space left. The bulk of their payroll is tied up in the core trio of Butler, Green, and Curry, eating up about 80% of the salary cap. Beyond that, they have a taxpayer mid-level exception worth somewhere between $5 and $10 million veteran minimum contracts and some young players on rookie deals. If Horford, Melton, and Brogdon all come aboard, it's likely that one of them takes the mid-level exception, with the other signing for veteran minimum deals. Horford's salary in recent years has been around $10 million, but given his career earnings, he's not in this to maximize his paycheck. Melton, when he's 7 years old, signed a one-year deal worth $12 million before his injury, but he won't command that figure coming off an ACL tear. So the numbers likely align for Melton and Horford to accept more modest contracts, which helps the Warriors balance their books. There's also chatter about a potential sign-in trade involving Kuminga and Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins, despite his shoulder injury last season, is still only 25 and entering his prime years. A move like that could free up some cap room and give the Warriors more flexibility to add key role players. But again, the mechanics are complicated because of the restrictions on trading Kuminga early in his new contract. He can only be traded for half his salary until December, limiting the Warriors' options. Financially, the Warriors are walking a tightrope. They have about $24 million available until they hit the first luxury tax apron. If Kuminga signs for $20 million, they will basically reach that apron, leaving only around $16 million for the rest of the roster. If he gets $30 million, the team is squeezed down to $6 million for everyone else. This bottleneck explains why the Kuminga deal holds such massive implications for the entire offseason. Ultimately, the big question for Warriors fans is whether the return of Horford and Melton, combined with the possible addition of Brogdon, will be enough to elevate the team back to championship status. Kuminga's decision will shape the roster and the team's financial flexibility, and until that's settled, the Warriors' offseason moves will remain on hold. The mix of veteran leadership, young talent, and championship experience makes for a compelling narrative as Golden State tries to navigate a complex free agency and roster-building process. The season ahead promises to be fascinating, with a lot depending on these critical contract negotiations and how the pieces fit together on the court. As the offseason stretches on, the saga surrounding Jonathan Kuminga remains the focal point, not just for the Warriors, but for much of the NBA's free agency buzz. His hold on the negotiations is a textbook example of how a single player's contract situation can ripple through an entire franchise's plans. While the Warriors have solid verbal agreements lined up with key players like Al Horford and Anthony Melton, none of these deals can be finalized until Kuminga's status is clear. This domino effect has left the team in a state of limbo, with fans and analysts alike wondering when and if these signings will be locked in. Kuminga's asking price of roughly $30 million annually reflects his potential and upside as a young forward with a versatile skill set. He's shown flashes of brilliance, combining athleticism with improving shooting and defensive capabilities. The Warriors see him as a crucial part of their future core alongside Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins, and they want to retain him. However, the disparity between what Kuminga wants and what the team is willing to offer, around $20 million per year, is a significant gap that highlights the challenges restricted free agency can create. The Warriors have a delicate balancing act to perform. If they give Kuminga the higher offer, they risk hamstringing their ability to add other important pieces through free agency or trades. If they hold firm on the lower offer, there's a chance Kuminga might test the market next year by accepting the qualifying offer, turning unrestricted free agent, and potentially walking away if another team makes a more lucrative offer. This scenario puts the Warriors in a tough position because they not only want to keep their young talent, but also need to ensure they remain competitive in the short term. Speaking of competition, the NBA landscape itself has shifted significantly during this offseason. Teams like the Clippers have doubled down by acquiring high-profile veterans such as Chris Paul, and Bradley Beal improving their backcourt firepower. Meanwhile, the Lakers have added Marcus Smart, a defensive stalwart who can guard multiple positions and bring intensity on both ends of the floor. These moves have made the Western Conference even more competitive, meaning the Warriors can't afford to stand still. The Warriors' potential addition of Horford and Melton is part of their strategy to stay relevant. Amid these changes, Horford brings championship experience and a fundamentally sound style of play that fits well with Golden State's system. He's not the flashiest player, but his ability to space the floor, switch defensively, and lead by example in the locker room makes him invaluable. Melton, coming back from injury, provides defensive versatility and the ability to create offense in transition. His chemistry with Curry and the rest of the roster before his ACL tear was promising, so getting him back healthy could be a significant boost. Yet the big unknown remains the backup point guard position. Stephen Curry's workload has been monumental over the past seasons, and giving him rest without a drop-off in production is essential. Patrick Baldwin Jr. and Moody have potential, but are unproven as consistent NBA contributors. That's where Malcolm Brogdon's name resurfaces. As a former 6th Man of the Year and a proven floor general, Brogdon could be the ideal piece to stabilize the second unit. His size, shooting, and defensive ability would fit well alongside Curry and provide more options for head coach Steve Kerr. Brogdon's hesitation in free agency, despite interest from several teams, is likely a sign that he's weighing his options carefully, whether to chase a bigger paycheck or join a contender with a real shot at a title. For the Warriors, landing Brogdon could be a coup, but again, financial constraints and Kuminga's situation complicate matters, with the Warriors already close to the luxury tax apron. Squeezing Brogdon's contract into the mix requires savvy cap management. On that note, the Warriors' payroll situation is perhaps the most restrictive it has been in years, with Butler, Green, and Curry consuming about 80% of the cap space. The remaining room to add impact players is minimal. The mid-level exception and veteran minimum contracts become vital tools for roster construction. The team must find a way to allocate those remaining dollars wisely, balancing the need for depth with maintaining financial flexibility for future seasons. Al Horford's willingness to accept a veteran minimum deal or something close to it speaks volumes about his priorities. He's played at the highest level for over a decade, earned nearly $300 million in his career, and now appears motivated by the chance to compete and contribute meaningfully rather than chasing money. This mindset aligns well with the Warriors' culture, which values experienced team play and championship pedigree. Similarly, Anthony Melton's contract expectations are tempered by his recent ACL injury. Though he signed a one-year deal worth $12 million before the injury, it's unlikely he will command that figure now. This reality opens the door for the Warriors to bring him back on a more modest deal, adding a key piece at a bargain price if he can return to form. Behind the scenes, the Warriors are also exploring creative roster moves. Rumors of a sign-and trade involving Kuminga and Andrew Wiggins have circulated. Wiggins, despite battling shoulder issues, remains a talented wing who is entering his prime. Swapping contracts or packaging players could help the Warriors clear space to bring in additional talent. However, the complexities of sign-and trade rules, salary caps, and restricted free agency limits make these maneuvers challenging to execute. Beyond contracts and salary caps, the Warriors are building a roster that blends youth and experience. Kuminga represents the future and athletic high-upside player with the tools to become a star. Horford and Melton offer veteran stability and playoff-tested know-how. Brogdon could provide the steady hand in the backcourt, while the emerging young players like Baldwin and Moody add energy and potential. This blend reflects the Warriors' blueprint of surrounding their superstar core with complementary pieces who fit the system. It's worth noting that Golden State's front office is walking a fine line in managing expectations. Fans want to see immediate moves to strengthen the roster and challenge for another championship. But the realities of salary cap restrictions, player negotiations, and league rules impose limits. Patience, strategic planning, and smart decision-making are required to navigate this complex offseason. Looking at the Warriors' broader timeline, the decisions made now could influence their competitive window for years to come. Signing Kuminga to a large contract may restrict short-term flexibility, but secures a young star to build around. Alternatively, holding firm on a lower offer risks losing him and potentially having to rebuild around an aging core. Balancing these priorities is a test of the organization's vision and long-term strategy. Meanwhile, the rest of the league is continuing to evolve. Teams are making calculated moves to bolster their rosters, improve depth, and enhance chemistry. The Western Conference remains a gauntlet with the Lakers, Clippers, Suns, and Nuggets all making aggressive upgrades. In this environment, the Warriors must be equally proactive to maintain their status as championship contenders. In conclusion, the Warriors' offseason is a story of patience and strategic positioning. Jonathan Kuminga's contract situation is the linchpin that will unlock or stall further roster moves. The potential signings of Horford, Melton, and possibly Brogdon add intriguing pieces, but the financial constraints and league rules make the process delicate. Fans should expect a dynamic summer filled with twists and turns as Golden State seeks to balance youth experience and salary cap realities in pursuit of another NBA title. The journey ahead will test the organization's creativity and resolve, but the core remains talented and motivated to return to the top. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Could DeAnthony Melton be the next splash and clamp brother for the Golden State Warriors? Rumors are swirling around the NBA world as whispers emerge about Melton potentially signing with the Warriors, sparking excitement and speculation among fans and analysts alike. DeAnthony Melton, known for his tenacious defense and improving offensive skills, seems like a perfect fit for the Warriors' dynamic style. His nickname in this speculative scenario, Splash and Clamp Brother, suggests a seamless blend of Golden State's trademark splashy offense and lockdown defense, a balance the Warriors have been eager to reinforce. While nothing has been officially confirmed, sources close to the situation hint that the Warriors are actively pursuing Melton as a valuable piece to bolster their roster depth. Heading into the next season, Melton's journey in the league has been marked by steady growth, particularly on the defensive end, where his ability to disrupt passing lanes and pressure ball handlers stands out. The Warriors have long emphasized strong perimeter defense to complement their lethal three-point shooting, and Melton fits that mold well. His potential rival could signal a strategic move by Golden State to shore up weaknesses that have occasionally surfaced in past playoff runs. This rumored signing also adds an intriguing layer to the Warriors' existing core, pairing Melton with established stars like Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green could elevate the team's defensive intensity while maintaining their offensive firepower. The idea of a splash and clamp duo, where splash refers to sharpshooting and clamp to lockdown defense, has always been a tantalizing concept for Warriors fans, and Melton might just be the missing piece to complete this puzzle. Of course, there are still questions to be answered. How will Melton adapt to the Warriors' complex system? Will he be able to consistently contribute on both ends of the floor at the level Golden State demands? The team's management is reportedly confident, but only time will tell if this gamble pays off. Speculation is mounting as the offseason progresses, with insiders closely watching contract negotiations and roster moves that could confirm Melton's place in the Bay Area. For now, fans are left to imagine the possibilities. The buzz around Melton joining the Warriors is growing louder, fueling hopes that Golden State could reclaim its dominance by combining sharpshooting with lockdown defense in a fresh, exciting way. Whether this rumor solidifies into reality remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the Warriors are not shy about making bold moves to chase another championship, and DeAnthony Melton might just be their next big splash.